Okay, everybody, this is Emar Saput, the Sports Inquirer, and we're joined by Ed Joyce, head coach of the Georgia State women's soccer team. Ed, you only had one game last week, or since we last spoke, I should say, but it was a very interesting one. It had a 2-2 draw against South Alabama. Just overall thoughts on that contest that included a big comeback for the team in the second half.
Yeah, girls did great. It was a weird one where, I thought we were kind of the better team throughout the game and then started at half time, we're 2-0 down. So, I mean, it's one of those where as a coach, you talk to the girls about feeling okay about being 2-0 down, which is odd. Because normally you're very upset with that scoreline, but we felt comfortable, felt like we were creating good opportunities and just had to be a little bit more ruthless in front of goal. And second half, the girls did a really good job of coming out and doing that.
Yeah, you mentioned the first half. You outshot South Alabama 12-4, but you were down 2-0, gave up 2 goals to Gracie Wilson. We spoke earlier. That's their top goal scorer. But what did you say in halftime for that turnaround? Because you controlled the flow of the play, but we're still down 2-0.
Yeah, it's time to keep on doing what they're doing. So we're really happy with what we're doing on the ball. We had 2, I'd say switch offs. We switched off at bad moments, and I think Gracie Wilson's probably top 2 or 3 players in the conference. So you give her opportunities like that, she's going to take them. So, we got punished a little bit for a bit of a lack of care and attention at times when we lost the ball, but we just felt confident. I don't know why I felt confident 2-0 down, but I did. This group doesn't really quit. We come back before this season, and we felt pretty confident that we were able to come back and then peg them back, and it ended up being the case.
Yeah, Jimena Cabrera scored her 11th career goal of the season to make it 2-1. Just what about her scoring for you? She was able to get a shot off with her right foot to make the score 2-1 and put you within range of tying.
Yeah, she was really good on the day. Thought she deserved the goal. And something that she does a lot in training. She can turn a player very quickly, and she shoots from many different angles and kind of create the opportunity for herself, and did a really good job. So I think moving into this part of the season, for her to get a goal at that stage in such a big game is going to really kick her forward for us.
Yeah, and then Kaylee Martin, hope I'm saying her name correctly, she was able to get her first career goal in the 78th minute. And then watching the game in the highlights, took advantage of a loose ball in the penalty area and put in a rebound. What does that say about her just being able to get her first goal and just taking advantage of that opportunity?
I thought Callee was incredible on the day. She played, I think, the entire game in a wide area, got up and down, really created problems for them on the ball, delivered quality service. And I think scoring the goal from where she did as a wide player, she scored a goal in the middle of the box, shows you kind of the desire she has to help the group be successful. Well deserving of it. I think this is year 2 for her, so I think she's had opportunities to score goals, but we're really happy for her to get a goal that was so important for us.
Yeah, and you shut them out from the second half and then in the overtime periods. Did you make an adjustment as far as the defensive positioning or formation? As you mentioned, you allowed 2 goals in the first half to Gracie Wilson, but they did not score after that. What was the defensive adjustment that you were able to make to limit their scoring?
We didn't really. We focused more on what we were going to do with the ball, valuing it a bit more, and not giving them the opportunities that they were set up to do. I mean, they did a great job in the first half of setting up and being kind of disciplined and tough to break down, and then breaking on the counter attack. And they did a great job. Now I think, kind of caused them problems in the second half because we just kept the ball and limited the opportunities we had for them to counter attack. So I think for us, that was the old adage of a good offense is the best defense, was hopefully what we were going to try and do. And I think we did a pretty good job of it, and probably had good opportunities to win the game. But that being said, to be 2-0 down and come back and get a point against kind of the perennial conference leaders is something that this group's got to be incredibly proud of.
Yeah, what is your philosophy on that? You mentioned controlling the ball. I've spoken with coaches and managers that actually like the opponent to have the ball and let them have the majority of possession, and that's their best way of defending. It's kind of weird. You think you'd have the ball, that's the best way to control play. But some managers like for the opponent to have the ball and just go on the counter and set up their formations that way. What's your philosophy on that? Do you like to be a high possession team, or do you like to have the other team to have the ball where you can set up your alignments and take advantage of the counter?
I mean, we like to have the ball.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we're set up. Our players want to have the ball. I think it's a really good psychological lift, for us to have the ball. And I think for where we are with quite a young group in certain areas, to have the ball kind of gives them a bit more confidence. So we want the ball. We value the ball. I think we're dangerous with the ball. So, that's kind of what we want to try and do. I think we are capable of counter-attacking, which we've done in some games. Just in the college game is transitional. I think we've got really good athletes in some really important positions for us, whereas we can counter-attack with the best of them. But if we were to write the script for a game, I think it would look a lot like the South Isle game, minus the 2 goals we conceded. But, that's kind of the way that we would like the game to go.
Yeah, and how do you handle teams that like to have possession and really you like to have the ball, but they like to have possession, like to do a lot of back passes, maybe some diagonals. How do you handle that to get them out of system? Do you like to press more, or do you kind of call their bluff and force them to push forward? How do you handle those situations?
I think it's a bit of both. One of the values we have as a group is that we want the ball, and when we don't have it, we want it back. So we talk a lot about pressing high, and when we lose the ball, can we press high in the attacking third and win the ball back? But certain games don't call for that. Certain games talk for getting behind the ball and make sure that we're in good shape. So I think it's, we want to press, we want to win the ball back. We have to choose the right moments and make sure that we're not overextending ourselves and leaving space in dangerous areas.
Does that philosophy change on the makeup of the roster? You mentioned when you have a younger roster, you want them to have the ball more. When you've had rosters with older players, do you maybe not mind the other team having the ball because the team's mature enough to handle that situation?
Maybe. I think there's moments that we want to make sure we're making decisions based on us. I think whatever group we have is going to be a group that we want to be in possession. We don't want to have that's what we recruit to. We recruit to teams that recruit a team that wants to have the ball and is comfortable on it. So I think as time goes on, I don't really think that's going to change for us.
Yeah, and as we're speaking right now, you sit at 12 points in the standings. South Alabama is at first place with 14. You're facing Arkansas State, which is in third place. It's a very jumbled top of the conference standings. Do you look at the standing? You want to win every match, but do you get into that type of stuff as far as looking where you stand and where you are placed at the standings overall?
I try not to. I think we've got to focus on the next game in front of us. And obviously we're in an area where we know if we win games this weekend, we can really kick us on in a positive way because of who we're playing. But we've got to stick to the script and do what we do. And I think the result is a byproduct of doing things the right way. So we can't get too result focused and we can't get too placement focused. We've got to make sure that we're performing at the level that we expect to. And I think good things will happen.
Yeah, and you have Arkansas State this upcoming Friday, a team that is one spot ahead of you in the standings. It's a long road trip to Arkansas. You play Little Rock in your next contest. About how has practices been going and preparing for that trip to the western part of the conference in Arkansas State?
It's been going really well. The girls have switched on, they're focused. We had a great training session this morning. We'll have another one tomorrow, and then we'll leave Thursday morning and fly out. So I feel like we're a second half of the season team normally in the past, and I think hopefully we can keep that going in the right direction. But both games will be challenging, will present different types of problems, and we have to prepare kind of for both in the 2 sessions we kind of have before we play them. So it's a lot to get done, but we believe in the group, and we think the group's in a really good place, and we really hope that it carries on going that way moving forward into the weekend.
Well, Ed, thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and safe travels to Arkansas.
Thanks very much.